What's going on, Next News Network family? We're live from the heart of America where the news never sleeps and neither do we. I'm Tom McCullough filling in for Gary Franchi, who's out on assignment, and you guys are watching the raw feed. Right now, millions are tuning in on YouTube and thousands more on Rumble on X. And if you're watching this, hit that share button and text the stream to everybody you know. Let's bypass their algorithms together. And X viewers, please repost the show right now to your followers. We need every patriot watching what's about to unfold. And what sets us apart from every other show? We don't just talk at you, we talk with you. Your live chat reactions drive this broadcast. We're reading your comments, featuring your thoughts on screen for the world to see. So send those super chats and Rumble rants right now, even before we dive in. We'll be showcasing them between every single segment. And speaking of staying connected, download the Next News Network app as you can right now and get breaking news alerts and exclusive content 24/7. And Android users, grab it at the Google Play Store, and iPhone users, hit up the App Store. Links are in the description, and never miss a story that matters. And if you guys want to support independent journalism, hit those donation links in the description. Your support at GiveSendGo/Keep Next News Alive or through PayPal keeps the truth alive when others bow to pressure. So show your colors with our exclusive merch at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and rock our Alligator Alcatraz, our President Auto Pen, or the American Badass series, and let the world know where you stand on real news. And take it deeper. Join our YouTube channel memberships. Each level unlocks unique perks, special chat room acknowledgement, exclusive access to the Next News team behind the scenes uploads, and our members only 24/7 Discord community. So on this day in history, in October 3rd, 1863, President Lincoln issued his Thanksgiving proclamation during America's darkest hour, the Civil War. And while the nation tore itself apart, Lincoln called for unity and gratitude. And today we face a different kind of civil war. Democrats are tearing the republic apart with government shutdowns, and while our enemies test our resolve. So just like Lincoln faced opposition from those who'd rather see America divided than united, Trump faces Democrats who'd rather shut down the government than secure our borders. They're holding military paychecks hostage to give illegal aliens free healthcare. And think about that. And speaking of our military, they're about to remind the world why you don't mess with America. And Trump just unleashed the Pentagon on the cartels, 3 drug vessels destroyed, Marines deployed off of Venezuela. And the message? Poison our people and we're going to blow you out of existence. And Portland has become a war zone where journalists get arrested for being attacked by Antifa. The cops watch conservatives get assaulted, then arrest the victims. Of course they do. Trump's threatening to cut every federal dollar until law and order returns. But here's the bombshell that changes everything. Tulsi Gabbard just confirmed Barack Obama has been criminally referred to the Department of Justice. The House Intel Committee proved they orchestrated the entire Russia hoax, manufactured the evidence, and doctored intelligence, all to frame our famous president and our favorite guy, Donald Trump. And meanwhile, Hamas just blinked. Hours after Trump's ultimatum, they're ready to release every hostage and surrender power in Gaza. No more endless wars, no more playing games. Just Trump says jump. Terrorists are asking how high. And in Washington, day 3 of the Democrat shutdown, military families are at food banks, veterans cut off from services, air traffic controllers working without pay, all because Schumer wants your tax dollars funding illegal alien health care. Again, this is October 3rd, 2025, and America is done playing defense. From the halls of Congress to the waters off Venezuela, from Portland streets to Gaza's tunnels, the message is clear. The adults are back in charge. So stay locked in. The next 2 hours are going to blow your mind, guys. It's going to be a great show. All right, we're going to see who jumped in here. Get over to the comments. Helps if we have a mouse. All right, we got Karen Myron. Welcome in, Karen. How are you? Let's see here. Who else we got? We got Kibbs Ellis. We've got Sparky's Run. We got Pothead Kenny. How you doing, Pothead? Kenny was just in Chicago. I met him downtown. We got to drive around. Miss Pothead Kenny. We had a great time. We did a couple videos together and just toured the wonderful crap hole that Chicago is. And he was happy to go back to his home state. We're getting through here. Where else we got? Miss Pothead Kenny. Redneck Newsom. What's up, buddy? Barbara Coyle. How are you? We got all sorts of fun people in today. Welcome, everyone. We're going to get into, we have a topic for the night. Yeah, I'm ready. One second here. Democrats shut for the government illegal health care. So, day 3 of the Democrat shutdown, military families stand in food lines at 5 in the morning. 7 million mothers and infants face empty shelves when WIC runs dry. Air traffic controllers guide your planes without getting paid, all because Chuck Schumer buried a poison pill on page 57 of his bill. $200 billion of your tax dollars for illegal alien health care. All of that while American veterans can't access transition servants, while our troops defend this nation without paychecks. Democrats hold the entire government hostage for people who broke our laws to get here. Think about that. And the receipts, they're in. The evidence is undeniable. And what you're about to see is going to make your blood boil. Go ahead and keep watching, guys. So, gold has gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere, and prices keep climbing. Every day, more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? Do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? That's when Noble Gold Investments comes in. Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. So visit nextnewsgold.com today to claim your free wealth protection kit. And again, that's nextnewsgold.com. So day 3 of the shutdown exposes a brutal truth about Democrat priorities. While military families face financial ruin and mothers worry about feeding their children, Chuck Schumer holds American hostages for one reason: illegal alien health care. And the evidence sits buried on page 57 of their counter-proposal demanding $200 billion taxpayer dollars for people who broke our laws to get here. This isn't about compromise or negotiation. It's about Democrats choosing illegals over Americans. Plain and simple. They turn government funding into a weapon against our own citizens. So watch what happens when Speaker Johnson confronts the media with hard evidence. He's got the receipts that expose exactly what Democrats are doing to American families. Take a look.
Welcome to day 3 of the Democrat shutdown. You've got the Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats have now voted 3 times to reject the clean, simple, continuing resolution that we passed out of the House 2 weeks ago to keep the government operating for the people. Real pain for real Americans. And they're claiming breathlessly, Dana, that they're not trying to restore free taxpayer-funded benefits and health care to illegal aliens, and it's simply not true. I would direct everybody right now, go to speaker.gov, okay? That's my official website. We put right there on the first page the evidence. I have the receipts, okay, as Bill said earlier. Chuck Schumer filed a counter-proposal, a counter-continuing resolution when they voted ours down. And what is in that? If you go there on the page, you'll see, go to page 57. It's buried in their document. But it says in that section 2141, right there, Chuck Schumer filed it. It says they want to repeal the health provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut that we Republicans passed earlier this year and that President Trump signed into law on July 4th. Now, why is that so important? Because, Dana, that's where you'll find they want to add back in almost $200 billion of taxpayer funds to give free stuff to illegal aliens. 100% in writing, not a Republican talking point. It's Chuck Schumer's own document.
So there it is. Democrats voted 3 times to keep the government shut down rather than give up free health care for illegals, of all things. The evidence is it's literally right there on page 57 of Schumer's bill. And now the witnesses, like devastating impact on military families. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt lays out the human cost of Democrat obstruction while they play politics with our troops' survival. Take a look.
We are now in day 3 of the Democrat-led government shutdown. The Democrats continue to recklessly hold the American people hostage over their demands to give illegal aliens free health care. Republicans are fully unified behind passing nonpartisan clean funding bill, the exact same bill that Democrats approved back in March to reopen the federal government. But those same Senate Democrats are now voting against this clean funding bill and keeping the people's government closed. I understand Democrats will have an opportunity very shortly here to change course, and we hope that they will. There are significant personal impacts on millions of Americans as a result of this current government shutdown. The 1.3 million men and women of America's Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Space Force who serve honorably and put their lives on the line to defend us all are not being paid. Military families are already seeking out food assistance because of financial anxiety caused by this Democrat shutdown. According to new reporting from the Military Times, staff members at the Armed Services YMCA food pantry distribution location near Fort Hood in Texas found a line of military families stretched around the side of the building yesterday at 5 in the morning. According to the staff who work there, that is, quote, not happened ever. They already had a 34% increase this week over past weeks. President Trump and Republicans fundamentally believe we have a sacred responsibility to protect and provide for our military families with the resources they need to thrive. If Democrats believe in this very simple premise too, they should end this shutdown immediately. Unfortunately, the severe impacts of the Democrat shutdown extend beyond our troops. Nearly 7 million mothers, infants, and low-income families who rely on government-run food assistance will be in jeopardy if the WIC program runs out of money in the weeks ahead. The more than 13,000 air traffic controllers who ensure that Americans fly safely in airports across the country are currently working without pay. The National Flood Insurance Program is in danger of lapsing, which could leave families without necessary help if a disaster strikes, and we are in the middle of hurricane season. Critical services offered at Social Security field offices are reduced for senior citizens and disabled Americans. Helpful transition assistance programs are not being provided for veterans who fought to defend our country and are now trying to re-enter civilian life. The economic consequences of this shutdown are piling up every day. Policymakers, markets, and even the Federal Reserve are flying blind at a key juncture because BLS and BEA data are on hold until the government reopens. Democrats shutting down the federal government to give health care to illegal aliens could lead to lower growth and higher unemployment rates for Americans. According to a new memo from the Council of Economic Advisors, the U.S. economy could lose $15 billion of growth domestic product each week. Every single week, the Democrat shutdown extends, with a month-long shutdown leading to an additional 43,000 unemployed people. Small businesses are likely to encounter delays in receiving federal loans. Mortgage applications will likely shrink.
And leave it to the Democrats to literally sit there and say every single time, like, oh, the government shutdowns are bad, and then let military families sit in line at food banks. Mothers and infants are losing food assistance, all because they wanted to give illegal aliens health care. This is the Democrat priority laid bare. The White House even changed their phone message to expose this betrayal. And you guys really need to listen to and hear what they did and what this is what they're doing to the callers when they try to get to the government. Take a look. It's incredible.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line.
Hello, America. This is White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Democrats in Congress have shut down the federal government because they care more about funding health care for illegal immigrants than they care about serving you, the American people. Until Democrats vote for the clean, Republican-backed continuing resolution to reopen the government, the White House is unable to answer your call or respond to your questions. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon. And in the meantime, please know President Trump will never stop fighting for you. Thank you, and God bless you.
And that's literally just perfect. They can't answer your calls because Democrats care more about illegal aliens than they do about Americans. And that's not rhetoric, folks. That's reality. And here's Leader Thune explaining how Democrats got exactly what they asked for, a clean bill, then voted it down anyways. Why? Because Trump is in the White House, of course. Take a look.
All we need is a handful more Democrats. We have a majority of senators, 55 senators, have already voted for this clean, short-term, nonpartisan CR. As the Speaker said, no policy riders, no gimmicks, nothing in here that benefits Republicans. This is a straight-up 7-week funding resolution, and we need it to keep the government open. And if we don't keep the government open, you'll have all the things that the Speaker just alluded to, all the Americans who are adversely impacted by this government shutdown. Now, this is something, as you all know, as recently as the last administration, during the Biden administration, when the Democrats had the majority here in the United States Senate, the Democrats on 13 different occasions voted for this, a short-term continuing resolution. Now, I have to ask, what's changed? What's different about this? What's different is who's in the White House. That's what it's about. It's all about President Trump and the Democrats needing to pick a fight to satisfy their far-left political base, far-left activist organizations who are the tail wagging the dog right now. That's all this is about. And you have a Democrat leader from New York in the Senate, a Democrat leader in the House from New York, and you have a mayoral race in New York. You got AOC. You got all these people that are bringing pressure to bear on what should be a routine, simple, straightforward proposition, and that is a short-term continuing resolution to keep the government funded, which is sitting right now. This is sitting at the Senate desk. We will have a vote another hour or two, and it'll be the fourth time that Democrats will have an opportunity to vote to keep the government open. Now, at some point, reason, good sense, common sense has to take effect here.
So I want to put this in perspective for everybody. 13 times under Joe Biden, they passed this exact same bill. Now with Trump, they manufacture a crisis. It's pure political sabotage. And even Senator Rand Paul, who votes against most spending, exposes the hypocrisy and the insanity. Both proposals explode the deficit, but Democrats want to add another $1 trillion on top. Check this crap out.
Senator Rand Paul from the great state of Kentucky. He is one of, now you're either going to love it or hate it. He is one of the senators who's like, no, I'm done with the inability to do math. We are finished with us. And he's been standing against this CR. And he makes a really good point about it with specific reference to Doge and the real cuts that came with Doge. Senator, it's always good to talk with you. Happy Friday. Tell us where you, because I know y'all are going to vote in the next hour.
Yes, we'll be voting very shortly. This will be the third time around. We've done this 3 times. But there are 2 different proposals, a Republican proposal and a Democrat proposal. The Republican proposal, when you add it all up, spending for a year versus the revenue, will lead to a $2 trillion deficit for the next year. That's about what we had this year. It'll be a little greater next year. I just think that's a non-starter. Now, the Democrats are worse. Do you want to choose the lesser of 2 evil, or you want to call them both out as evil? The Democrat proposal would add $1 trillion in spending and be about $3 trillion in debt. But I don't think either one of them are acceptable. And people have been coming up to me and say, is there anything that would convince you to vote for this? And I say, well, yeah, why? If you cut the $2 trillion in half and you had a $1 trillion deficit next year and then a $0.5 trillion the next year and $250 billion, if you did what I've been calling for with the penny plan to balance over 5, I'll vote. It doesn't have to be perfectly balanced right now, but it has to be going in the right direction. It can't, who are we and are there any conservatives left if we're voting for a budget that's going to add more debt next year than we already added this year?
So these Democrats, a $2 trillion deficit becomes $3 trillion under Democrats. They're bankrupting America while military families starve. And Newt Gingrich knows exactly who's behind this disaster. His theory about the DNC strategy meetings will make you laugh and rage at the same time. Take a look.
Do you know how hard it is for a major party to design a strategy that has 2 different stupid things in the same strategy?
Well, who's designing the strategy?
Some guys.
Who's doing this? Is it Hakeem? Is it Nancy? Is it AOC? Is it Schumer? No one knows who's in charge.
Do you want my personally totally uninformed guess?
Yes.
There are 3 or 4 guys and gals, I don't want to be discriminatory, off in a corner at the DNC who, when they have enough cocaine, finally say, we're ready. Now let's do something brilliant. And they come up with stuff like that. You show me a better explanation.
So I want you guys to think about that. 3 or 4 people high on their own power, destroying American lives for political points. That is the Democrat Party in 2025. And Greg Gutfeld nails it. Trump makes everything fun, even shutdowns. And while Democrats melt down over the memes, Americans see through the lies about racist sombreros. Check this out.
The Democrats all day yesterday saying it wasn't about health care.
Well, I just want to look. I have some information to respond with. To respond to Harold, where is it?
That's because you have health care and you got the biggest part.
Yes, I am a rich, white conservative. I love it when Trump says he wants to get rid of Ted Wood. Immediately, John Kerry went into hiding. But I love that Trump makes shutdowns fun because he makes everything fun with the memes. Poor Hakeem Jeffries, or as some like to call him, the straight Obama. He doesn't know how to react to silly jokes. So he says, I'll just join in. And he's so stilted. It's painful. But they got to understand, only the right can do memes because memes find truth in absurdity, which is why the left and the woke is such a rich target. But you can't do it in reverse. The left are terrible at it because they're the absurdity in the equation. So they can't even see outside themselves. It's easy for us to lampoon them. How do you lampoon us? We don't want men and women's sports. We want a tight border. We want a reduction in crime. Good luck lampooning that. But defunding the cops, we can lampoon that. Dudes in dresses showing off their junk to kids. That's pretty easy, guys. Maybe change your policies.
If it wasn't such a target-rich environment, maybe the right would be bad at memeing. But the Democrats, they go so far extreme on the left, it's like you could throw a rock and hit a good meme off of it. And they even the J.D. Vance memes, they were trying to make his head go bigger and bigger and bigger. And we turned that right back around on them. And now J.D. Vance is owning that and loving it. So I just love seeing Gutfeld, dunking on these guys. We'll continue.
And stop worrying about the sombreros, which gets to my bigger point about this issue. It's not about the issue at all. The memes are telling the Democrats and the media, especially who's the lady with the teenage boy voice? Caitlin Connor? Yeah, Collins. We're telling you, we don't care what you think anymore. The accusation of racism doesn't fly because you said it about everything. You said sports were racist, fitness was racist, food was racist, inheritance taxes were racist. So we're taking your only tool and we're turning it into a joke. The sombrero totally just chaps your hide. We laugh. We're not running away from you. We're running at you, and we're laughing all the way. As Scott Adams says, this is a breakout moment. This is breakout mode for the Republican Party. And it's another lesson that we learned from Trump. We learned that Democrats treat tax dollars like musical chairs. Oh, it's not going to illegals, they say. That's true. You don't hand 10 grand right there when they walk in across the border. No, but you slip it into the COVID relief bill. Then you jack it all up and then you try to make it temporary. Or you say we don't pay for illegal health care. Well, the states do. And how are the states able to do it? Because the federal government gives them money to spend on other things so they can spend it there. It's an opportunity costs. Democrats were like the dude with the EBT card that was meant for milk and bread, but they end up buying cigarettes and liquor for their homie.
For their homie.
In your face, Harold.
All I know is when you all did that shutdown in 2017.
And it's so funny because the sombrero meme broke the Democrats because it exposed their scam. And every dollar for illegals is stolen from American families. Always keep that in the back of your minds. That money was always intended for American families in need. And Democrats, they know this. We know this. It's game over for them. So if you guys got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is about more than a government shutdown. It's about who we are as a nation. Democrats have made their choice. Illegal aliens over American heroes. They'd rather see military mothers at food banks than admit their open border policies failed. They'd rather watch veterans lose services and stop funding people who shouldn't even be here in the first place. And Chuck Schumer's page 57 poison pill revealed everything. $200 billion were stolen. They were stolen from American families to do what? To pay for illegal alien health care while our troops are working without paychecks. This is theft, plain and simple. The Democrats own every hungry military child, every unpaid air traffic controller, and every veteran cut off from services. They chose this, and they voted for this. Not once, not twice, 3 times. So here's a question for you viewers. Should any senator who votes to fund illegal aliens over American troops be allowed to remain in office? Yes or no? Drop me the answer in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. So, and while you're fired up, folks, check out our merch shop. It's linked below. So shop show the world where you guys stand. Let's get it done. Awesome. Sorry, guys. I'm still getting back in the swing of things out here. We had Tamara Jennings in the chat. Hey, she said, hi, Tom. Hey, back. Nice to see you. The sombrero memes are hilarious. What else we got here? We got Heather Reeves saying, what's up with that? What's up? That's AOC, right? I agree with that. Kim Welk, thanks for hosting for Gary. Yeah, Gary's out on assignment right now. He's covering some stuff in Chicago. There should be some pretty cool videos for you guys to see. And somebody said they love Newt. Newt's usually pretty good. Sometimes he's hit or miss, and I think most of the time he's pretty good. I'm going to jump down on here a little bit, reading through the chats. We got some Shop.Next News Network links. A lot of people agreeing, saying no, no, no. I appreciate the no's on that. And we're going to get into a next topic here in a few minutes. It is my make or break for the Trump administration. And every time I'm one of the correspondents with Gary at the White House, every single time I'm out there, that is my make or break. That's the question I ask Caroline or anybody that I can in the administration is, what are we going to do about the cartels who are bringing poison to our children? And it's a very, very big deal. I'm ready for topic 2 if you are, Bri. Cool. This topic's the war on cartels, guys. Clear? All right, so Trump declares war on the cartels. Let's do it up. So 3 drug vessels destroyed. Oh, cancel. Technical difficulties. All right, 3 drug vessels destroyed, Marines deployed, 4,000 warriors positioned off Venezuela's coast, and the cartels thought they could keep poisoning Americans with the fentanyl stuff. And they thought wrong. Trump just changed the rules of engagement, and that's no more treating these terrorists like common criminals, no more playing defense while 100,000 Americans die every single year. And the Pentagon has been unleashed. Military strikes are authorized. This isn't law enforcement anymore. This is war. And the cartels are about to learn what happens when you attack American families. What you're about to see proves that we're not messing around anymore. The days of weakness are over. Keep watching. Daddy Trump is home. When cartels poison our families with fentanyl, when military strikes target terrorist vessels, when our warriors face real threats, you need protection that matters. Medicare confusion leaves seniors vulnerable to rising costs while chaos unfolds. Chapter makes Medicare simple. In 20 minutes, they compare over 24,000 plans to find the one that saves you money. Their independent advisors work for you, not insurance companies. No commissions, no pressure. Seniors using Chapter save $1,100 yearly on average. And while Trump secures our borders, secure your health care. Call Chapter 910-728-4109 right now. The annual enrollment period will not wait. So the rules of just changed forever, and I could not be happier. For decades, cartels operated like sovereign nations, flooding America with poison that they treated like common street dealers. These days are over. Trump authorized military strikes against narco-terrorists, and the Pentagon, they delivered. 3 vessels destroyed off Venezuela's coast, each loaded with enough fentanyl to kill tens of thousands of Americans. And this isn't about drug busts anymore. It's about national security. When criminal organizations murder 100,000 Americans yearly, that's not crime. It's war. And America just declared it. So watch the moment Trump laid down the law. The cartels received their death sentence wrapped in the clearest language they understand. Total annihilation. Take a look.
You try to poison our people, we will blow you out of existence, because it's the only language they really understand.
That's not diplomacy. That's a declaration of war. And the military just got the green light to execute. Now, we see what happened within hours of Trump's authorization. The White House released footage of our first strike, a cartel vessel loaded with enough poison to kill 50,000 Americans. And there won't be a lot of audio on this clip, but let's go ahead and take a look at this. I always love these classified footages where they've got like the drone videos just kind of cruising over the sky. You see these terrorists loaded in a boat. They're just not knowing what's about to happen. Boom! And we just unleashed, I would say, a couple thousand pounds of justice on those guys trying to bring poison to our children. I mean, let me know in the comments real quick while you guys are watching. How many of you have family members who are affected by the crap these guys are trying to bring across our borders to our children in our neighborhoods? Let me know in the comments below. Please let us know. This is justice being delivered. I'm so happy to see this happen here. So one vessel down, more to follow. This is what protecting Americans looks like when you stop playing politics. And the Pentagon just informed Congress we're in an armed conflict with the cartels. So watch this explosive briefing that changes everything about how we fight these terrorists.
Breaking moments ago, the Trump administration says it is now engaged in, quote, armed conflict with drug cartels. That's according to a memo to Congress that was obtained by Fox News. Our Peter Ducey has got more on the breaking news live from the White House. Peter, I assume this is in response to the criticisms that have been leveled at the president for taking out those drug boats.
Yes, and John, those criticisms come from Democratic lawmakers who say they are concerned that these cartel members, cartel drug boat captains, are not getting due process before a bomb drops on their head. President Trump and his team do not seem moved one bit by that. And so they drafted this memo making this official to Congress. Part of it says, based upon the cumulative effects of these hostile acts against the citizens and interests of the United States and friendly foreign nations, the president is determined that the United States is in a non-international armed conflict with these designated terrorist organizations. The president directed the Department of War to conduct operations against them pursuant to the law of armed conflict. And the president just talked about this week.
If you try to poison our people, we will blow you out of existence, because that's the only language they really understand. That's why you don't see any more boats on the ocean. You don't see any boats. Around Venezuela, there's nothing.
And it's not just Venezuela. The president's team is putting out the word that cartels throughout the Caribbean are now on notice.
We in the UN Security Council just took action yesterday on the gangs that have taken over Haiti, right off Florida.
So just to put this in perspective, it is armed conflict, not law enforcement. It's war. They are literally making these guys enemy combatants. And the distinction, it matters because now we hunt them under military rules of engagement, no longer on the law enforcement side. And Tucker's team exposed the full scope of this operation. CIA drones over Mexico, Marines ready to strike, the Secretary of War prepared to unleash hell. Take a look.
Cartels are now officially in the Pentagon's crosshairs. And it's not just the wall anymore. Trump ordered the kill shot. The days of local drug busts and random motels, they were fun, but that's Breaking Bad stuff. Trump wants to take the fight to El Chapo's front yard.
We're talking about sending military forces to fight against the drug cartels in Latin America. Do you think it's worth sending our forces, our U.S. forces there to take this on?
Cartels where?
Central Latin America.
Well, Latin America's got a lot of cartels. They've got a lot of drugs flowing. So, we want to protect our country. We have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years. And we love this country like they love their countries. We have to protect our country. So, we're playing a tough game.
And think about what they had to do for all these years. In order, like decades and decades and decades, the Democrats let the cartels bring stuff across. Maybe our own government did, who knows? But in order for the Trump to go after these cartels, they had to make our border operationally secure, meaning that nobody could come across to smuggle guns or whatever else to get back at our communities. They made the border operationally secure day one. That was their first executive order, secure the border. And all of this was to build up to what we're seeing now. I'm going to continue.
According to the New York Times, behind the scenes, Trump's moving all the pieces into place to pull this off. Mexico's got a big problemo.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with Mexican territory. It has to do with their country. It does not involve our territory.
So it would be within the United States?
Within the United States, exactly.
El Presidente doesn't comprehende. This isn't a Mexican standoff. This is an order. The CIA is already flying surveillance drones over Mexican territory, gathering intel on the battle space. And Trump's not sending diplomats. He's sending Hegseth, maybe with a new title.
Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, Department of Defense, Department of War.
Well, that's what it was for many, many years. You gave me that knife hand, Will. We'll see. Stand by. I don't get in front of the commander-in-chief on that. But our job is to ensure our enemies know exactly what they will do to them if they threaten us, up to and including total war. So we'll be prepared. Stand by. There might be some news on that.
This is about protecting the homeland from groups like the Sinaloa cartel. They import fentanyl from China and traffic it into the United States. Look at that. Trump designated them terrorists. And if they get cute, they're getting Soleimani'd.
You know who did the roadside bomb, right? Soleimani. Where is he? Where is he? Where is Soleimani?
I love Trump's sense of humor. From surveillance strikes from Mexico to Venezuela, the entire hemisphere just became a battlefield. The cartels, they have nowhere to hide. So here's a strategic briefing showing Marines already engaged. 3 vessels destroyed, 4,000 warriors positioned. This is just the beginning. Take a look.
And this, I guess, was driven by the fact that we do have an amphibious readiness group in the Caribbean off the coast of Venezuela, and we have 4,000 fleet Marines that are there. Is that what drove this? Plus, they've taken out, I think, 3 different vessels now over a period of a couple of weeks. Is that what the primary concern was and why they went in there and wanted to get ahead of this?
Yeah, I think so, because Congress has been raging about as you say, the 3 strikes last month, all of them deadly. One of them was against Tren de Aragua. The other 2 weren't specified. And in their memo to lawmakers today, it didn't specify any particular terrorist organization. We're asking for clarification on that, and it doesn't name Venezuela either. I suppose they're concerned that they would be concerned about naming Venezuela. They obviously don't want to get drawn into a broader conflict here, but as we know, Tren de Aragua is the notorious cartel which took over apartment buildings in the U.S., so certainly seem to be using force on American soil, although Democratic lawmakers say that the trafficking of drugs doesn't constitute use of force.
I find it absolutely outrageous that the Democrats are trying to give due process to terrorist organizations from other countries. Literally, Tren de Aragua took over American apartment buildings on U.S. soil. Now they're taking torpedoes. That's the Trump doctrine. You attack our soil, we will end your existence. And Venezuela thought they could harbor these terrorists. And look what's brewing off their coast. Warships, fighter jets, submarines, and Marines ready to seize their ports. And the Washington Examiner confirms this goes beyond drug interdiction. We're preparing to take their infrastructure. That means no more safe harbors for America's enemies. That's exactly why they changed the name from the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Watch what military sources revealed about this coming storm. October becomes a month when America stops playing defense against those who poison our children. Take a look.
This month of October is going to be the month the bombs start dropping in Iran again. But my whole question is, if we're doing that or we're supporting that, what does that mean for what we're planning to do in Venezuela? Because I'm hearing from people that we're getting ready to go into Venezuela in the next 2 weeks. I don't know if we can do both at the same time, or if Trump is just planning to do support only of Israel, which is what it looks like right now. He's not even talking about bombing Iran like we did the last time. So this is going to be the question is, what does the sequencing look like here? Because the U.S. is going to have grave difficulty fighting a two-front war if that's what ends up happening here. Not to mention the stuff going on in Europe right now with Russia.
I want to disagree a little bit. America can have multiple war fronts across the world at the same time. One of our carrier groups is enough to destabilize an entire region. So let alone if we have 13 carrier groups out there, we could take care of whatever we need. So I will disagree slightly with him. But 2 war fronts opening, Venezuela and Iran, the cartels picked the wrong time to test American resolve. They're about to face the full might of our military. So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this changes everything. This was my make or break for the entire Trump administration. For decades, cartels operated like untouchable kings while Americans died by the hundreds of thousands. They poisoned our kids, they invaded our communities, and they thought America had gone soft. Well, they thought wrong. I almost said a bad word. Trump just flipped the script. No more treating mass murderers like shoplifters. No more letting poison flow across our borders while we play defense. The United States military doesn't do half measures. And when those Marines hit the beaches, when those strikes rain down, and when those vessels start exploding every couple seconds, the world will remember why you do not mess with America. 100,000 Americans dead. They are demanding justice, and their families deserve vengeance. And the cartels are about to receive both. So here's a controversial question. Should America seize cartel assets and territory as reparations for the families of the fentanyl victims? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments, and grab your American Badass gear from our merch shop. Show the world you stand with strength. Awesome. I told you guys that was my make or break for the Trump administration. They had to make the border operationally secure, meaning like nobody can get across. We've got troops all down it. We've got A-10 Warthogs flying over it. We've got so many assets in place that I don't even know, has anybody crossed illegally in the last couple months? I think the total number is 0 for the last 2.5 months, which is spectacular that we know of. We're going to get over to the chats. We've got Alice Suri. She's from Chicago. We're all from Chicago. Seems like there's a lot of Chicago folk here today. So welcome to see you guys. We got Cynthia, a few others here. I'm checking out some of the comments. Kevin Bell says, this is a beautiful thing. Stop the flow of money to the traders within the United States. And I heard a rule that on October 1st that they were actually stopping some of the transactions from the cash going back out. And I'm so happy because an estimated $50 billion a year leaves the United States and it goes back to, Mexico, Venezuela, other countries. People come here, work illegally. They load the cash onto debit cards or whatever at Walmart or MoneyGram, then they send it back to their countries of origin. So it's amazing to see how this money is stopping. We got Laughter Talk says news reporters are just stupid. Well, I don't think I'm that dumb, but we might be. So maybe, correct that later, I guess. And they said, I said to Obama, he was a disappointment. I said, I cried when you won, but I cried when Trump, we all did, Sharon. We all did. Going through a few more comments here. I just, Trump usually does military strikes on the weekends because he likes making the Monday news cycle. So I'm curious with that declaration yesterday, happened on Thursday last night, and a lot of more stories are breaking today. I wonder what's going to happen over this weekend to Venezuela and all the cartel members. Oh, let me look for the super chat here. You can't see it. All right, so thank you, Thomas. The Next News Network I watch every day from Inhuman Condition. $20. Thank you, my good sir. Put it in the tip jar there. And Lynn became a member earlier. Welcome to the crew, Lynn. You got to make sure you join the Discord, both of you guys, and check out the after show. I know we all get in there and chit-chat. Usually I video chat on my drive back towards the house. So I love to jump in there talking to everybody. Ready, Bri. Portland police just arrested the wrong guy. Conservative journalist Nick Sorter came to document Antifa's siege on the ICE facility. They jumped him. They broke his camera. They threw multiple punches while he was on the ground. And when he fought back and escaped to the police for help, they slapped cuffs on him instead of his attackers. And the violent mob walked free while the victim went to jail. This isn't incompetence. This is policy. Portland protects domestic terrorists and punishes those who expose them. The Department of Justice launched an immediate investigation, and Trump's threatening to cut every single federal dollar that he can to that city. And what happened last night will shock you to your core. Go ahead and keep watching, folks. So when violent mobs attack journalists, when chaos erupts in our streets, when your body takes the beating from daily stress, you need real protection. Studies prove collagen supplements deliver actual results, improve skin elasticity, reduced wrinkles, and stronger joints. That's why today's sponsor, Ageless Multi-Collagen, matters now more than ever. While Portland burns and journalists face assault, your body faces its own battle against aging. And that's 5 types of premium collagen work together, reducing fine lines, improving joint health, strengthening connective tissues. So get 51% off at healthwithgary.com. Protect your body's strength and resilience. That's real results for real Americans under real attack. So Portland has become a battleground zero for everything wrong with Democrat-run cities. Antifa terrorists siege federal facilities with explosives and guillotines while police protect them instead of citizens. And last night proved it beyond doubt. Conservative journalist Nick Sorter came to document the anarchist corruption of the ICE facility, and the mob jumped him, broke his equipment, threw punches while he was down, and when he escaped and ran to police for help, they arrested him instead of his attackers. This is like, that city's so crazy. And the violent criminals, they walk free. The journalist went to jail. This is what two-tier justice looks like in America's most lawless city. So here's a shocking moment. Antifa terrorists attacked Nick Sorter. And watch how Portland police stood by and let it happen before arresting the victim instead of the violent mob. Take a look.
With the flag. We're fucking him up.
Hey! Mark's a veteran. He's got it.
Your blood is a fucker. I know a name alert. Fucking kid dead alert. Kid dead alert. Kid dead alert. Fucking terror. Fucking scream.
And look at Portland PD just hanging out watching people get assaulted.
That's just outrageous. Portland liaison officers watched a journalist get jumped and did nothing. This is what Democrat-run cities have become. They're literally safe spaces for terrorists. And listen to Nick himself describe the assault. Multiple punches, broken equipment. And when he sought police protection, they threw him in cuffs. Check this out.
So they threw multiple punches at me. They broke my camera by hitting that. So I was on the ground at that point. I tried to swing, I missed. I saw the opportunity to get up and get away. And that's when I went over to the police officers, which I thought, maybe they'd help me. But no, instead they threw me in handcuffs. This is going to backfire on them tremendously. It already is, okay? People knew that something out here stunk and that it was corrupt and that the police they take the side of the violent criminals that are here every single day, assaulting ICE officers, assaulting journalists. And then a reporter comes and, tries to embed deep within the chaos that's going in out here, and he's the one that gets arrested.
And that's why covering protests is always so dangerous, especially in cities like Chicago and Portland, Oregon, where if you go out there as a conservative journalist, that you run the risk of getting your camera broke or being attacked. That's a risk that we all face. And he defended himself. And the police, they arrested him. This is going to backfire tremendously, as he said, and it already has. So watch the exact moment Portland PD made their choice. They could have arrested the violent Antifa thugs, but instead they targeted the conservative journalist. Watch. And that just shows minimal effort from the police departments. We covered a lot of protests during the Summer of Love, especially in Chicago when they were burning the city down. And that is like the most token police presence I have ever seen. They don't even care. They want the city to burn. You could tell by how they're not even in line. These guys don't have shields, nothing. They don't care about it. They're there as a token force. A targeted arrest, and that's what they're called protecting and serving in Portland. Targeting conservatives while letting the terrorists walk free. Most of those people affiliate with Antifa, associated terrorists. And the White House press secretary just dropped the hammer on Portland's corruption, and federal investigations were launched. Military resources have been more mobilized, and Portland's about to learn what law and order actually means. Check out Caroline.
President Trump will end the radical left's reign of terror in Portland once and for all. The president has directed Secretary Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other left-wing domestic terrorists. What's been allowed to happen in Portland, and we saw disturbing video footage of this last night, this is not peaceful protesting, this is left-wing anarchy that has been destroying this great American city for years, leaving police officers battered, citizens terrorized, and business properties damaged. Since early June alone, Antifa terrorists have laid siege to the ICE field office in South Portland. These radical left-wing lunatics have violently breached the ICE facility by using a stop sign as a battering ram, hurled explosives and other projectiles at law enforcement, repeatedly assault and dox officers, berate their law-abiding neighbors, and have even rolled out a guillotine. in front of the ICE facility. And more people should be reporting on that. President Trump has sent federal law enforcement to protect federal assets and arrest those fueling this violence. Just last night, we saw an extremely troubling incident where conservative journalist Nick Sorter was captured on video being taken into custody by the Portland police after he was ambushed by Antifa and was defending himself from these assaults. But instead of arresting these violent mob members night after night after night who are ravaging this community, the police arrested a journalist who was there trying to document the chaos, and everyone in this room should be extremely concerned about that. The Department of Justice spoke with that journalist this morning, and they will be launching a full investigation into his arrest. This incident is part of a troubling trend in Portland where left-wing mobs believe they get to decide who can visit and live in their city. It is not their city. It is the American people's city, and President Trump is going to restore that. I just spoke with the president about this, and he has directed his team here at the White House to begin reviewing aid that can potentially be cut in Portland. We will not fund states that allow anarchy. There will also be an additional surge of federal resources to Portland immediately, including enhanced CBP and ICE resources. Law and order will prevail, and President Trump will make sure of it.
It's so awesome to hear that Trump is cutting aid to cities that protect these anarchists. And the Department of Justice spoke with Nick this morning. Full investigation is underway, and Portland's free ride, it just ended. So see what these Antifa cowards really think. They burned a MAGA hat and openly called for Charlie Kirk's death. This is who the Portland police are protecting over conservatives. Take a look.
Yeah, Turning Point USA, this is what we have to say to you.
You think Charlie Kirk deserves to die?
I think Charlie Kirk's a piece of shit. You know,
yes or no? That's the point. Yes
honestly,
or no?
he's kind of a fascist, so I would say yes.
What's your message to the right wing?
Fuck them.
That's fine.
He said Charlie Kirk deserves to die because he's a fascist. These are the people that Portland lets terrorize their streets while they are arresting journalists. And here's what happened earlier when they challenged federal agents at the ICE facility. One anarchist thought he could breach federal property, and guess what? He learned just a little bit different. Take a look. Now, you see the difference between actual law enforcement that are protecting the facilities versus just like the loose organized rabble that the Portland Police Department is. Take a look. I believe this is where the guy's got the blow-up suit, and then they may spray something in his little air pump. Check it out.
Because you're small yourself. Every single night on public property, and you want those
So, as you can see, federal agents don't play Portland's games. They jump the fence, hit the pavement. That's how you handle domestic terrorists. And the footage from other angles shows a pure chaos. While terrorists laid siege to ICE facilities with explosives and guillotines, Portland arrested the journalist. Document it. Take a look.
Hey, whoa.
I'm not sure why.
What's your name, bro?
Totally.
We're ready to turn that phone off. Let me scan your body. I'll have a conversation with you.
You guys notice the difference between the federal agents arresting the people that were throwing bottles and stuff at them and hurling everything else that they had with them, some things we can't say on the stream, and they arrest the guy that was holding a camera. So it's just embarrassing.
I'm just going to scan you for other devices. It's universal precaution. We're going to have a conversation about a bigger picture here. shit's about to go down old school, you know what I'm saying?
Not trying to interrupt this. I'm just genuinely curious. Like,
See, people around here don't realize they better pray to God than ask for that. Because what comes next, I wish they had.
I'm gonna go right past your.
That gets me so angry. And it just shows that Portland Police Department's priorities are exposed. They let violent mobs assault federal facilities, and they arrest anybody who films it. This has to end now. And Attorney General Pam Bondi just announced a full civil rights investigation into Portland's police practices. The city that protects terrorists is about to face justice. And woke cops protecting criminals while attacking the journalists? The investigation, it's begun. Portland will answer for this betrayal of justice. So if you got value from this report, please tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is America's shame. Portland has become a sanctuary for domestic terrorists while law-abiding citizens live in fear. A journalist documents violent extremists, and he gets arrested. His attackers, they walk free. They're protected by the very police sworn to serve justice. This isn't just about one arrest, everybody. This is about a city that chose anarchy over order. They chose violence over peace, and they chose terrorists over taxpayers. They roll out the guillotines at federal facilities. They assault anybody who exposes them. And the police, they arrest the victims. Trump's response is perfect. Cut every federal dollar until Portland remembers what country that they're in. The Department of Justice investigation will expose years of corruption. The criminals hiding behind the badges will face justice. So here's today's question. Should federal agents permanently take over Portland's law enforcement until order is restored? Yes or no? Go ahead and sound off below. And while you're at it, check out our merch shop. Wear your support for real journalism and real justice. Those guys make me so angry. It's always a risk that you run when you're covering these like the riots and stuff, that you might be a little bit too close to one person that's an agitator, and the police, they just kind of swoop in and grab you. But what happened with Nick clearly wasn't just an agitator. He was standing there. They assaulted him. Portland had orders clearly to arrest the guy. They knew, hey, if he does anything that's out of line or even slightly suspicious, arrest him. In the meantime, the masked terrorist thugs get to run away. So you're saying, Brian Michaels, why is the video zoomed in and low quality? It's based on what we find online that is relevant. So we try to find the best clips that we can, and sometimes the ones that are relevant for the stories that we have are the ones that we get. And I wish we could do better on that, and it is what it is. We got Jeremy Olson saying, good evening, everyone. I just got home with no YouTube notifications. Sorry about that. Our beloved pothead Kenny has been diligently working behind the scenes to make sure all Discord members are notified. I've seen Kenny do that process. He literally goes in and copies and pastes to hundreds of people every day, and he's doing God's work over there. We've got Serena Clark says, traitor, coward George Soros, Open Society Foundation, organized terror under Antifa cartel, drug smuggling, human. Absolutely. I think Soros's days of living free are coming to an end. I know the Department of Justice and the Trump admin are investigating him fully, and we could not agree with that more. Any super chats? No super chats. Only 2 super chats tonight, guys. We got to get on the super chat bandwagon. It says, Trumptario, yes, Portland must be taken over by the military. They are out of control. I think they need to be shown exactly what leadership looks like again, and then go back through it and like get them retrained on like how to do things equally under justice. I don't care what party you're a part of. If you break a crime, you should go to jail, right? And we got somebody from Australia say, cheers, Americans from Australia, from Tracy Manu. We wish we could send some extra freedom your way to Australia. If you guys keep sharing the feed, hopefully they'll start catching on over in the UK and Australia. All right, and we're going to pop into our next topic here, guys. Ready when you are, Bri. The walls are closing in on Barack Obama, and Tulsi Gabbard just dropped evidence that shatters the Russia hoax wide open. Criminal referrals have been filed, and the House intelligence documents hidden for a decade are finally exposed. Obama personally directed his CIA to manufacture false intelligence, claiming Putin helped Trump win. They doctored the evidence, they buried contradictory reports, and they lied to Congress, the courts, and every single American. This wasn't incompetence or mistakes, folks. This was treason. The man who swore to defend our Constitution weaponized our intelligence agencies to frame his successor. And Watergate was nothing compared to this. The evidence is overwhelming and undeniable and criminal. And what you're about to see will rewrite history, so make sure you keep watching. So gold has gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere. And prices, they keep climbing. Every day, more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? That's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. So visit nextnewsgold.com today to claim your free wealth protection kit. That's nextnewsgold.com. So the biggest political crime in American history just got exposed, and Tulsi Gabbard's bombshell revelation confirms what millions suspected. Barack Obama, of all people, we all knew it was him, orchestrated the Russia hoax from the Oval Office. Let that sink in for a second. He orchestrated the Russia hoax from the Oval Office, and the House Intelligence Committee investigators spent over 2,000 hours uncovering the truth. They've interviewed 20 CIA and FBI officials. The evidence they found sat locked in a CIA vault for nearly a decade. Now it's public, and it proves Obama personally directed the creation of false intelligence to destroy Trump. This wasn't rogue agents or bureaucratic bungling. This came from the very top. So watch Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard confirm the criminal referral. Obama's role in manufacturing the Russia hoax is now a documented fact. Check this out.
Any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
So get this, a criminal referral was filed, and it has evidence pointing directly to Obama. He led the manufacturing of false intelligence to undermine an American election. And here's a comprehensive breakdown showing how deep this conspiracy goes. Obama planted 2,500 personnel to overthrow Trump's government. He planted people to overthrow it. The FBI infiltrated his campaign with honeypot agents. Take a look.
The allegations are so absurd that even Republican-controlled committees, looking into it, have dismissed them. And, Attorney General Barr has dismissed them. But, this is an example, I think, of a larger problem. Well, two larger problems. Which don't get as much attention, understandably, when you've got high unemployment and a pandemic raging.
Which he probably orchestrated too.
Because it doesn't touch people's day-to-day lives. But one of the central foundation stones of a democracy.
We live in a constitutional republic. President Obama, not a democracy.
Is the idea that you do not allow the politicization of the criminal justice system, the intelligence system, the military, right? That is stuff that you keep out of politics.
Well, clearly he didn't do any of that. 2 female FBI agents were sent as honeypots, and 26 Trump associates were targeted for manipulation. This is straight up treason, guys. Bigger than Watergate ever dreamed of being. And watch Obama himself lying to the American people, calling these proven facts absurd, while sanctimoniously preaching about not politicizing intelligence agencies. Take a look.
You talked about this with the comedian Trevor Noah the other day. And you said a number of things in a row. You observed that there had been contacts between members of Mr. Trump's staff and Russian officials. Right. You noted that Trump benefited from the hacks. Your spokesman, Josh Earnest, has gone on to say this week that it's obvious that Trump knew what was going on. To what extent are you suggesting some kind of cooperation between the president-elect and Russian officials here?
Well, I'm not suggesting cooperation at all. Keep in mind that those statements were in the context of everyone now acting surprised by the...
Come on, spit it out. He's trying to think of the best lie. Do it.
CIA assessment that this was done purposely to improve Trump's chances. And my only point was that shouldn't be treated as a blockbuster because that was the worst kept secret in this town. Everybody understood that. It was reported on. Steve, if you go back and look at your stories, if you read any mainstream publication, you would see that if you have a hack of the DNC and a hack of Hillary Clinton's most senior advisor's emails, and those things are then released in drip, drip, drip fashion over the course of months, and that seem to generate consistently negative coverage.
Because you own the media. They own the whole media apparatus, guys. They created the story, they pushed the story, and then they shoved it through all the corporations and all the media outlets that they owned.
Despite the fact that there's nothing in there that's particularly controversial, that it's mostly just, as I said, political gossip or routine emails between folks who are working in a campaign environment, then it's a pretty clear inference that people would draw and did draw.
He was sitting there and he lied. He called it absurd. He said no one should politicize intelligence agencies while he weaponized them against his successor. And the details, they get worse. Obama was not just satisfied with regular intelligence reports. He ordered John Brennan to create a special assessment with handpicked analysts working in secret silos. Watch this.
Fox News alert, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade.
And you know what? There's always whistleblowers that are trying to come out and get Trump on everything. Where was the patriots for all these decades that knew this information? They knew these things were sitting inside these drawers, and they did nothing. Shame on those people for not standing up and standing tall. Only when it's politically convenient for the Democrats do leaks happen. This needs to change.
Investigators spent over 2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election. A month after Trump beat Hillary, Barack Obama wasn't satisfied with his intelligence reporting and ordered his CIA director to create a new assessment of how Russia interfered with the election.
You know, every time we put the quarter in the Alex Jones was right jar, all of us conspiracy guys, they want to call all of us crazy for all these years. We were right the entire time. I just want you to think about that. We were right. They did this. We knew it was false. We knew it was fake. But they kept doing it. Anybody who said anything different, they took away your YouTube channels. They silenced you on Facebook. And they dehumanized you. They took you out of everything. All because these people wanted to control and overthrow the government. We're going to continue. This stuff makes me so angry.
This was a highly unusual move. John Brennan handpicked 5 CIA analysts to write the assessment, and they were siloed. None of them knew what the other was doing. And only one analyst was in charge of drafting this report. There was nothing routine about this, and it was a rush job to publish before Trump was sworn in. Nothing was coordinated with the other intelligence agencies either. Basically, this was home cooking for Barack Obama.
So get this straight. Doctored intelligence, hand-picked analysts, a rush job before Trump's inauguration. Obama knew exactly what he was doing. He was framing an innocent man. They pushed 4 massive lies. Putin wanted Trump to win. Putin helped Trump win. Russians had blackmail on Trump, and Russia colluded with Trump's campaign. All of it has been proven false. Watch.
There were 4 key elements from the assessment that were repeated over and over again and formed the basis of the Russia hoax and the Robert Mueller witch hunt. 1, that Vladimir Putin wanted Donald Trump to win. 2, Putin took action to help Trump win. 3, the Russians had blackmail on Trump. That was the Steele dossier. And 4, that the Russians tried colluding with the Trump campaign. None of any of this was ever true. There was no reliable intelligence to support any of these allegations. Senior CIA officials repeatedly refused to traffic in these allegations, but they were repeatedly overruled by CIA Director Brennan and FBI Director Comey, who
because they're all on their payroll. These guys all knew what was going on. They've been selling the big lie for decades. And Trump, he was an outsider. He was going to expose all of these things. Of course, they're going to try to shut him up. He was somebody they never expected, an honest American person going into the White House and seeing all of the dirty lies and having his fingers on every single button that they didn't want pressed.
Insisted that they be pushed, even without verifiable evidence. The Obama administration cherry-picked the intelligence, lied about their sources, misquoted sources, didn't corroborate their claims, suppressed intelligence that ran counter to their narratives, and even used anonymous internet postings. Rank and file CIA admitted what they were doing violated their own tradecraft standards. There was a massive pressure campaign that came right from the top.
So senior CIA officials refused to traffic in these lies, yet Brennan and Comey overruled them. They violated their own tradecraft standards under massive pressure from who? Obama. And the truth? Putin had no preference. He expected Hillary to win like everybody else. He had dirt on Hillary that he never even released. And if Putin wanted Trump to win, why didn't he use that dirt? Check this out.
CIA analysts say they received unusual directives from political appointees, the CIA director, and Obama himself. This is how the Russia hoax was born.
Donald Trump knows that the Russians helped him win in 2016.
Putin hated Secretary Clinton so much that the flip side.
In all honesty, most Americans do hate her too, Mr. Comey. We'll continue with that.
Of that coin was he had a clear preference for the person running against the person he hated so much.
It was Russia in a very systematic way and tried to interfere in the election and to try to advance the prospects of Donald Trump being elected.
This was such a malicious disinformation campaign perpetrated on the American people that at one point, 60% of Democrats believed the Russians hacked our voting machines to help Trump win the White House. What this report actually shows is that the Russians just wanted to create chaos and undermine Americans' faith in democracy. Solid intelligence suggested that Vladimir Putin didn't care who won. He had no preference. But like most people, expected Hillary to win and had a little docket of compromising dirt on her, dirt that he never released. Now, if Putin wanted Trump to win, why didn't Putin drop the dirt?
There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizer.
I want to note to the viewers watching, you guys go back, we covered Hillary Clinton's medical issues way back then, and she even credited Gary Franchi and the Next News Network with one of the reasons why she lost the election. We're going to continue with this.
Then CIA Director Brennan and the intelligence community mischaracterized intelligence and relied on dubious substandard sources to create a contrived false narrative that Putin developed a quote-unquote clear preference for Trump.
So 60% of Democrats believed Russia hacked voting machines because of Obama's lies. Well, I guess that only works when it's a Democrat who loses an election. Anyways, he knew Putin didn't prefer Trump, but cooked the intelligence anyways. And remember Peter Strzok and his insurance policy? He should be next for indictment. And watch him squirm about the threats against those exposing his conspiracy. Watch. It's beautiful.
If we are too timid in the way we talk about this, I mean, these are threats to terrorize people who are public servants doing their jobs for a political purpose. We see something, are we saying something, and are we saying the right thing?
Well, in my opinion, we're not doing enough. I mean, look, when push comes to shove, absolutely the FBI and DOJ need to band together and protect their personnel to allow them to do their job. They're going to do it, but they need to be able to do that without fear for their lives. When the FBI was fighting Al Capone, there was not a unit dedicated to protecting FBI personnel. When the FBI was fighting organized crime families in New York and all around the U.S., there was not a unit dedicated to protecting FBI personnel. I'm struck by the fact you threw up that quote from testimony from an FBI agent to the House Judiciary Committee.
So you remember the Strzok and Page text messages back and forth? I want to know how this guy got a book deal, number one, and number two, how he's even allowed on television after all the bad things that he did, all the lies that he told, everything. How is this guy even a relevant person in the media right now? It's insane.
Who's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee? Jim Jordan. And yet Jim Jordan, hearing that these threats to this AUSA are coming about from being publicized, he nevertheless goes on television and, appears in the same, little snips that you showed, repeating the name of this AUSA. So congressmen, senators, they don't care.
And is he recording in like the children's section of a Barnes & Noble? It looks kind of suspicious.
Care about this threat, but we need to be doing more. In my opinion, I'm glad to see the FBI and Director Wray and others starting to talk about this, but we need to talk about it even more because it's not getting better. If anything, it's getting worse, and it's getting worse behind the testimony and the statements of senators and congressmen, not fringe, sort of outcasts and outliers, but mainstream, reputable national politicians. And it's got to stop.
It's interesting when you say that. So there's no unit created to protect the agents that were prosecuting Al Capone. And your comment, Pete, about the elected officials who are threatening these individuals in the same way that Republicans put out enough disinformation for the...
Look at that little smirk while she's selling the lie to the American people. She's smirking like, oh, they need to create people to protect us from the Republicans. Lady's nuts.
Russian troll farms to be rendered nearly irrelevant, although I'm sure they'll be busy in 2020. You've got Republicans doing all of the mob-like threatening and intimidation and endangering of prosecutors. What do you need the Proud Boys for? It's an extraordinary articulation of how far we have fallen. Pete Strzok.
That's a pretty big word for her. So the man who conspired with Lisa Page to prevent Trump from winning now complains about threats. He had an insurance policy, guys. Remember that. Now he needs a lawyer. So don't forget the other tentacle of corruption. That's Hillary's uranium deal with Russia. 20% of America's uranium sold while donations flowed to the Clinton Foundation. Take a look.
Did Hillary Clinton give 20% of the United States supply of uranium to Russia for donations to the Clinton Foundation? And it flows out of the sale in 2010 of this company, Uranium One, which controlled about a fifth of America's uranium, to a Russian firm called Rosatom. By law, even though Uranium One was a Canadian firm, the U.S. part of this deal had to be approved by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., which is...
I wonder whose people all chair that committee. Interesting.
It's comprised of 9 agencies, including the State Department, and at that time, Hillary Clinton was the boss there. Anderson?
So, a lot of this was looked at during the campaign. Why is it coming up back now again? There were also all the donations to the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. It was all talked about before. But the Hill newspaper, which reports on a lot of things with the government here, came out with a report showing the FBI was investigating a subsidiary of Rosatom for possible racketeering, money laundering, bribes, all aimed at giving the Russian government more influence over the U.S. nuclear industry while this deal was being approved. So some members of Congress want to know why they weren't told about all of this. And furthermore, the Hill says the Russians were channeling millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation at the same time.
Is anybody surprised? If you're surprised about that, please let us know in the comments. All this was happening while Obama was selling our secrets to other countries as well. We're going to continue.
Raising the question, especially for some Republicans, did Hillary Clinton help this deal along in any fashion?
She most certainly did. So the FBI was investigating Russian racketeering while Hillary approved selling them our uranium, and millions channeled to the Clinton Foundation and the real Russia scandal. So if you got value from this report, please tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is the crime that dwarfs Watergate. Another one. These guys just keep lining these things up. And Obama didn't just spy on a political opponent. He weaponized the entire intelligence apparatus to overthrow a duly elected president. He manufactured evidence. He planted moles. He lied to Congress, the courts, and every single American who trusted him. And the Russia hoax wasn't just dirty politics. It was an attempted coup. And now the evidence is undeniable. Criminal referrals are filed and documents are exposed. And the truth finally is revealed. And for years, they called us conspiracy theorists for questioning the narrative. They destroyed lives. They bankrupted innocent people. They divided our nation with lies, all to cover for Obama's crimes. And the reckoning, it has finally arrived. So here's a question. Should Barack Obama face the same treatment as any other American who commits treason? Full prosecution and prison time or more? Let me know yes or no in the comments and sound off below. And remember, justice delayed is justice denied. Check out our merch shop and wear your support for truth. All right, guys, man, that stuff makes me so angry. Like, they set up this entire country. They set up Trump. They made a good man who was trying to be an honest politician to go fix America, lie to everybody. Hey, buddy. I didn't know what side you're on. What's up, Chief? You're back from your special report. What's up, my friend?
What's up?
Hey. We got stuff going in.
How's he doing, guys? He's doing good?
Am I doing all right? Yeah, I guess maybe. We'll let the chat know. Anything going on? I didn't expect Gary to pop in behind me out of nowhere. We got the chats going. So we got Sue Couture saying she was not surprised. I knew it the whole time. We knew it too. But they kept demonetizing and getting rid of our videos and stuff. Be safe out there. He's getting ready to go some favorite places. And yeah, Sharon Fox is my favorite president. I hope to God you weren't talking about Obama. And I'm pretty sure you're talking about Trump. We got a super chat here as well. Let's go ahead and get to that. Oh, we got quite a few of them, actually. Let's see here. We've got Alice Cersei for $9.99. Thank you, Alice. We have Sharon Fox saying a hippo character with stars growing in its eyes, pumping his arms in the air with the word hype pulsating above him. I like that. And we've got $5 from Heather Reeves saying Sheba Dog saying good job while raising his thumb up. And Pothead Kenny, $5, says God bless Tom, Jeremy, Duty 2, and Loyalty for making N3 meeting the membership trip possible. Yeah, I love seeing you too, Kenny, out there in Chicago. Yeah, it was a lot of fun stuff. Kenny called and he's like, hey, I'm going to be in town. And I raced downtown to grab him from where he came in. And we toured the city. We had a lot of good fun out there. And we're going to get into our next topic here in a second. I'm going to check any more cool chats. I mean, the whole Obama thing, it's like, even when Hillary Clinton lost the election, Gary covered her medical concerns and he brought on a doctor. And that's when the channel really first blew off. And that story broke the internet and it broke Hillary Clinton's campaign. And we couldn't be happier that she did not get across that finish line. And we have a question from Hal Ward saying millions have died and now we know why. They did this to us. This wasn't something that they did this. It's without question. It was a setup. It was intentional. I did. We got Lin saying Cambodia needs help. Please help Cambodia. I know Gary's working very hard to help Cambodia, and so is Mike Alfaro, along with the entire Trump administration. And we've got Sue Couture saying surprise, going ah. I don't think any of us were. All right, I'm ready for topic 5, Bri. All right. 6 hours. That's all it took. Trump issued his ultimatum to Hamas: release every hostage or face total annihilation. Within 6 hours, they folded like a cheap tent, and all hostages were coming home, living or dead. And Hamas surrendered power in Gaza. No more endless wars. No more playing games with American lives. One demand, one deadline, and one result. This is what happens when America leads with strength instead of weakness. And while Biden sent pallets of cash and begged for negotiations, Trump sent one message: comply or die. And the difference? It's devastating. And our enemies only understand one language, and Trump speaks it fluently. The world just watched American power restore order. Let's go ahead and keep watching. So when global tensions explode and enemies test American resolve, your skin faces its own daily battle. Internal chaos creates stress that shows on your face. Fine lines, lost elasticity, weakened resilience. Clinical studies prove collagen supplements combat these visible signs of pressure. 23 controlled trials documented real improvements in hydration, elasticity, and wrinkle reduction. While Trump forces Hamas to surrender and prevents nuclear catastrophe, you need personal protection too. 5 types of premium collagen strengthen your body's defenses against aging. So visit healthwithgary.com for 51% off Ageless Multi-Collagen. When the world tests America, don't let stress test your appearance. So 6 hours after Trump's ultimatum, the impossible became inevitable. Hamas caved completely, agreeing to release hostages and surrender power in Gaza. This isn't diplomacy through weakness, it's through strength. The Biden approach of appeasement and negotiation produced nothing but dead Americans and endless conflict. And Trump's approach? One threat backed by overwhelming force. And the results? They're speaking louder than any politician's promise. And when America projects raw power instead of empty words, our enemies calculate differently. They stop stop testing boundaries and start following orders. They watch the breaking news as Hamas scrambles to comply with Trump's demands. Every hostage, living and dead, coming home, finally, in exchange for the terrorists' survival. Take a look.
Breaking news out of the Middle East. Hamas has submitted its response to President Trump's peace plan for Gaza. And for more on this, we're joined now by CNN Jerusalem correspondent Jeremy Diamond and our senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes. Jeremy, first to you. I understand that this would begin negotiations to release all of the remaining hostages. What do we know?
Well, Casey, Hamas's response is very interesting and obviously very important. It has now agreed to release all of the hostages, living and dead, 48 hostages being held in the Gaza Strip in exchange for the same number of prisoners that is outlined in President Trump's proposal. They say that they are ready to enter negotiations to agree to the details on how that hostage release and the rest of President Trump's plan would actually be implemented. Hamas also says that they are ready to give up power in the Gaza Strip and hand over that power to a technocratic Palestinian government, which is also included in President Trump's proposal. But then the rest of Hamas's statement is where we start to get into some questions about how much Hamas truly agrees with President Trump's 20-point plan. And that's because there is no explicit mention in this statement of Hamas disarming, which has been a key point of that 20-point plan, a key Israeli demand in order to end the war in Gaza.
And that's one thing about Trump's leadership is that sometimes Israel wants one thing, we want something else. Party A and Party B can disagree. And Trump's like, okay, that's the biggest holding point. Let's take that out. We've got more military than the rest of the world combined. If they mess around, they're going to find out. We're going to continue.
Instead, Hamas refers to the, quote, inherent rights of the Palestinian people, which could potentially be interpreted as referring to the weapons of Palestinian militant groups in Gaza. But instead of agreeing to what is in President Trump's proposal, they say that those rights should be discussed through a, quote, comprehensive national Palestinian framework.
And Hamas agreed to release all hostages and give up power. They're ready to negotiate details because they know the alternative is annihilation. The response came fast, but the questions remain. Hamas talks about Palestinian rights instead of explicitly agreeing to disarm. And Trump's team made it clear this is not negotiable. Take a look.
The United States is willing to negotiate over how Hamas disarms, but they are not willing to negotiate over whether or not Hamas disarms. And so the key question now is Hamas is responding positively. They say they're ready to enter into negotiations. But just in the last few hours, we saw President Trump issuing this ultimatum saying that there needs to be not just a Hamas response, but agreement between the two parties by Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern time, or he was saying all hell will break loose on Hamas. So now the question is, will the president accept this as a way to get into those detailed negotiations to make this comprehensive plan a reality, call it a win, and move forward? Or will he say this is simply not enough? And then, of course, there is a mad dash over the next 50 hours and counting at this point until that deadline, which just does not seem like enough time to actually iron out all of these details and for a ceasefire agreement and hostage release deal to actually move forward.
So the United States will not negotiate over whether Hamas disarms, only how. Sunday evening deadline approaches, all hell breaks loose if they don't comply. Trump didn't just threaten Hamas, he positioned assets across the hemisphere. Watch how the State Department openly discusses our new war footing against narco-terrorist and rogue regimes. Take a look.
Cartels are now officially in the Pentagon's crosshairs. And it's not just the wall anymore. Trump ordered the kill shot. The days of local drug busts and random motels, they were fun, but that's Breaking Bad stuff. Trump wants to take the fight to El Chapo's front yard.
We're talking about sending military forces to fight against the drug cartels in Latin America. Do you think it's worth sending our forces, our U.S. forces there to take this on?
Cartels where?
Central Latin America.
Well, Latin America's got a lot of cartels. They've got a lot of drugs flowing. So, we want to protect our country. We have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years. And we love this country like they love their countries. We have to protect our country. So, we're playing a tough game.
According to the New York Times, behind the scenes, Trump's moving all the pieces into place to pull this off. Mexico's got a big problemo.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with Mexican territory. It has to do with their country. It does not involve our territory.
So it would be within the United States?
Within the United States, exactly.
El Presidente doesn't comprehende. This isn't a Mexican standoff. This is an order. The CIA is already flying surveillance drones over Mexican territory, gathering intel on the battle space. And Trump's not sending diplomats. He's sending Hegseth, maybe with a new title.
Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, Department of Defense, Department of War.
Well, that's what it was for many, many years. You gave me that knife hand, Will. We'll see. Stand by. I don't get in front of the commander-in-chief on that. But our job is to ensure our enemies know exactly what they will do to them if they threaten us, up to and including total war. So we'll be prepared. Stand by. There might be some news on that.
This is about protecting the homeland from groups like the Sinaloa cartel. They import fentanyl from China and traffic it into the United States. Look at that. Trump designated them terrorists. And if they get cute, they're getting Soleimani'd.
You know who did the roadside bomb, right? Soleimani. Where is he? Where is he? Where is Soleimani?
Drug cartels are firmly in the Pentagon's crosshairs, and military forces are ready to strike from Mexico to Venezuela. The Secretary of War has been unleashed on America's enemies. This connects to a broader strategy. Military sources reveal potential strikes on Iran and operations in Venezuela within weeks. America's enemies face a coordinated assault. Take a look.
This month of October is going to be the month the bombs start dropping in Iran again. But my whole question is, if we're doing that or we're supporting that, what does that mean for what we're planning to do in Venezuela? Because I'm hearing from people that we're getting ready to go into Venezuela in the next 2 weeks. I don't know if we can do both at the same time, or if Trump is just planning to do support only of Israel, which is what it looks like right now. He's not even talking about bombing Iran like we did the last time. So this is going to be the question is, what does the sequencing look like here? Because the U.S. is going to have grave difficulty fighting a two-front war if that's what ends up happening here. Not to mention the stuff going on in Europe right now with Russia.
So October brings bombs dropping in Iran, Venezuela operations within 2 weeks, a potential two-front war while Russia escalates in Europe. This preparation is already visible. Warships, fighter jets, submarines, and Marines are deployed near Venezuela. This goes way beyond drug interdiction. So reports suggest preparations to see Venezuelan ports and airfields, and the Washington Examiner confirms America is projecting power like it never has before. And the legal framework is set. Trump's team notified Congress we're in an armed conflict with terrorist organizations, and military strikes authorized under the laws of war. Take a look.
Breaking moments ago, the Trump administration says it is now engaged in, quote, armed conflict with drug cartels. That's according to a memo to Congress that was obtained by Fox News. Our Peter Ducey has got more on the...
I want to say, before Peter Ducey talks, I voted for this. This one issue is what I voted for. If you guys voted for this too, tell us in the comments you voted for this. We want these guys to be done. Our children's lives and our neighbors' kids' lives are in danger from these people. This is the biggest subject, the biggest topic, the biggest point for the Trump administration, period. Hundreds of thousands are unalived every year because of what these people do. Take a look.
Breaking news live from the White House. Peter, I assume this is in response to the criticisms that have been leveled at the president for taking out those drug boats.
Yes, and John, those criticisms come from Democratic lawmakers who say they are concerned that these cartel members, cartel drug boat captains, are not getting due process before a bomb drops on their head. President Trump and his team do not seem moved one bit by that, and so they drafted this memo making this official to Congress. Part of it says, based upon the cumulative effects of these hostile acts against the citizens and interests of the United States and friendly foreign nations, the president is determined that the United States is in a non-international armed conflict with these designated terrorist organizations. The president directed the Department of War to conduct operations against them pursuant to the law of armed conflict. And the president just talked about this week.
If you try to poison our people, we will blow you out of existence, because that's the only language they really understand. That's why you don't see any more boats on the ocean. You don't see any boats. Around Venezuela, there's nothing.
And it's not just Venezuela. The president's team is putting out the word that cartels throughout the Caribbean are now on notice.
We in the UN Security Council just took action yesterday on the gangs that have taken over Haiti, right off Florida.
So an armed conflict was declared. That is a very, very important differential from a war being declared. He is treating them with the same way that we use under the 2001 Defense Authorization Act against al-Qaeda. And that's no more treating terrorists like criminals. When cartels poison Americans, bombs drop on their heads without due process. So watch Trump himself explain the new reality to our enemies. And his words carry weight because they're backed by action. Take a look.
You try to poison our people, we will blow you out of existence, because it's the only language they really understand.
And I voted for that. We will blow you out of existence. That's the only language that they understand. And now they're learning Trump means every single word. And the White House released footage of the morning strikes on the narco trafficking vessels, which is enough drugs to kill 50,000 Americans, was destroyed in seconds. Take a look. And there's going to be no audio on the video, but I love watching these drone footage of just these narco boats. These guys, these terrorists are trying to go out and kill all these Americans. They just get blown out of the water. Oh, it's so good. He's treating them like the terrorists. We never gave warnings to al-Qaeda before we blew them up. We never gave warnings to anybody in the Middle East or Afghanistan or anywhere else before we decided with decisive military force and action. That is what I voted for, in truth and in action, right in front of us, guys. It's beautiful to see American justice coming out there. That is 10,000 more American lives that are sustained. So be warned, this morning strike sent a message. Trump ordered it personally. The days of America's weakness are over. So if you got value from this report, please tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what American leadership looks like. No apology tours, no pallets of cash, no endless negotiations while hostages rot in tunnels. Just clear demands backed by devastating consequences. And Trump gave Hamas 6 hours to choose between compliance and obliteration. And they chose wisely. The hostages are coming home because our enemies fear us again. And Iran is watching Hamas fold and knows that they are next. The cartels see our warships and understand that their time is up. And this isn't warmongering, guys. It's peace through strength. When America projects power, the world becomes safer. When we project weakness, Americans die. The choice is that simple. So here's today's question. After watching Hamas surrender in 6 hours, should Trump give Iran the same ultimatum over their nuclear program again? Tell me no, yes or no in the comments. Drop your answers below. And the world is learning what Make America Great Again really means. So check out our American Badass collection in the merch shop and wear your pride in American strength. All right. I love seeing those guys go. And it's cool seeing that like 6 hours after Trump said, you know what, we're done. He's been giving them chance after chance after chance. And he just decided, that's it. We're going to do this. We're going to do it on Sunday, whether you guys like it or not. I know Israel is probably really itching to get going on it. And we got a lot of comments are coming in, guys. Thank you for sending them on in. We've got Sparky's Run. I voted and stand for this. I watched people dying here in Oregon. It was flooded here with fentanyl on purpose by the liberal left lunatics to depopulate us. Could not agree more. We have a lot of other people saying due processes for citizens. Our enemies don't get due process. They get swift justice. From the circus and side chat. Welcome around. I don't think I've seen that name in the chat before. Thanks for being around today. We appreciate it. We got a few more here. We're going to scroll through them. I'm still getting used to it. Gary usually covers the show live, and I'm still learning this. It says, Gauntlet 1985, die process with surveillance evidence. The verdict was the bomb. Best president ever. I could not agree more. And those guys, I mean, it's crazy that the Democrats are on TV going, we should give due process to them people. And then what? Then just stop the interdictions. They would probably have some district court guy say like, oh, no, we can't interdict militarily in the Caribbean. And then they let the drugs flow back into America. They ship it off to our communities, and then the Democrats get to go on and have another talking point for their elections about Americans are dying. We need more health care. We need more of this. We need to give more illegals. Trump just blows those pricks up. He just gets rid of them. He's like, boom, no, we're done. They're killing our people. We're blowing them up. Oh, Maduro, he's stepping out of line. We're going to blow up his stuff too. He's a narco-terrorist regime. We're done messing around, guys. It's so awesome seeing this. Could you imagine what Kamala Harris would be doing right now? Let me know in the chat. What do you think Kamala would be doing? I can't say what Brian just said in my ear. So Armageddon Now, music comes to mind from Pothead Kenny. The Chinese Islamic fascists and the cartels are aligned. Yeah, that's probably true. Deb Nicole says, me too. They will kill us. We are in a war. That is correct. And again, I talked earlier about, solidifying the border, and then we have operations set up across the United States. That's because the cartel has millions of members here in the United States, and the administration knows that, and they're not playing games. So when they're telling these local jurisdictions and cities to step up, that means because they know what is coming next. When we start getting rid of their facilities and we start getting rid of their cash supplies, they're going to start doing some things locally, and the administration is working ahead of that. That's why they're getting out the violent criminals. That's why they focus on those people first. The Trump administration is not stupid. Stephen Miller is one of the smartest guys you will ever need. We're going to get a couple more chats, and we're going to get into close here. Is any super chats, Bri? No super chats. So she would be cackling insanely about Kamala Harris from Lone Star Gemini. And KP says she's drunk right now. She's probably drunk all the time. I agree with that. We've got a great job tonight from Todd. Thanks, Kenny. Don't the Dems realize they are the real reason people are flipping around in the streets like fish? I could not agree more. And Stephen Dickel, Kamala is the dumbest person on earth. And we're going to end the show with that tonight, guys. I appreciate every one of you. We're going to come into it, and I'm going to get to my close whenever you're ready, Bri. Awesome. So what a show, guys. What a day, and what a time to be an American. We opened with the Democrat shutdown entering day 3. Military families stood at food banks while Chuck Schumer holds out for illegal alien health care. Page 57 of his bill tells the whole story. $200 billion were stolen from American heroes to fund people who shouldn't even be here. Our troops are working without pay, veterans lose services, and mothers worry about feeding their children. Also, Democrats can virtue signal to their radical base. The American people see through this betrayal. Then we witnessed American power unleashed. Trump declared war on the cartels, and the Pentagon delivered. 3 drug vessels are destroyed. Marines are positioned. The message is crystal clear. Poison our people. We will blow you out of existence. And no more treating mass murderers like shoplifters. When criminal organizations kill 100,000 Americans yearly, that's not crime, guys. It's war. And America just started winning it. And Portland's corruption got exposed for the world to see. Nick Sorter jumped by Antifa thugs. Camera broken. Punched while he was down. He escapes to the police for help, and what do? They arrested him instead. The violent mob walked free while the journalist goes to jail. The Department of Justice launched an immediate investigation. Trump's cutting federal funding. Portland's free ride protecting domestic terrorists just ended. And the biggest bombshell of the night, Barack Obama was criminally referred for orchestrating the Russia hoax. And Tulsi Gabbard revealed evidence hidden for a decade. And Obama directed the CIA to manufacture false intelligence. Full stop. He planted FBI honeypots in Trump's campaign. He lied to Congress, the courts, and every single American. This isn't just dirty politics. It's treason. The walls are closing in on the man who weaponized our intelligence agencies against democracy itself. And in just 6 hours, Trump proved what real leadership looks like. Hamas, they folded completely. Every hostage is coming home, alive or dead. And terrorist control of Gaza, it's ending. No pallets of cash, guys. No begging. Just one ultimatum backed by American might. Our enemies only understand strength, and Trump speaks that language fluently. To everyone who sent in super chats and rumble rants, you made this show electric. Your energy drives everything we do here. This is your show and your movement and your country taking back control. So tell a friend about the Raw feed. Share this broadcast, text it, post it, shout it from the rooftops if you can. The truth needs warriors, and you guys are on the front lines. So make sure you please hit up our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Make sure you rock our alligator Alcatraz, sport our President Auto Pen, and show your American badass with pride. Let the world know you stand with strength, truth, and freedom. And again, this is Tom McCullough, White House correspondent for the Next News Network. I'm filling in for Gary Franchi, who is out on assignment. We exposed the traitors, we celebrated the warriors, and we proved America's back. So thank you for joining the Raw feed. We'll see you on the next show. So as always, stay strong, stay free, and stay American.